All right. Hey guys, thanks for joining. If you're joining now or later on, happy to be here. Can't wait for Adventure Rock to downtown to open so soon. Hopefully, we can get back to teaching in person soon. Awesome. We are going to get started. Let's get started standing today. So, shaking things up a little bit. So let your feet fall hips width. Let your hands rest alongside your body. Take a couple rolls of the shoulders back. And then take a couple rolls forward. Close your eyes. Play with the shift of the weight in your feet. So maybe lifting just the big toe. And then lower. Try lifting just the pinky toe off of the mat. And lower. Maybe try lifting all three toes in between the big toe and middle toe. And then lower. Play with shifting the weight to the arches, the outside edges of the feet. Maybe to the heels. Maybe just to the toes. Lift the heels. And then root down through all four corners of your feet. So it's easy to stick our booty out. So it's kind of like the natural curve of our spine. So really thinking about drawing the belly button in and up, tucking the tailbone. So think about pressing your hip points to the front of the room. Holding here, finding your Tadasana. Lengthen through the top of the head. Soften through the shoulders. Lengthening through the sides of the body. Take a deep inhale through the nose. Open mouth, exhale. Deep inhale. Exhale to side out. One more inhale through the nose. Open your mouth, stick out your tongue, lion's breath, exhale. Finding that natural rhythm of your breath. Feel the breath flow all the way down to the belly button and overflow into the back body. On your next inhale, lift the fingertips overhead. And then take an open twist to the right side. Draw the left fingertips forward, right fingertips back. Draw the left hip back, right hip forward. To keep the hips squared, notice how that activates the core. Inhale back through center. Exhale, twist to the other side. Draw the right hip back, left hip draws forward. Maybe the gaze shifts over the backhand. Inhale, rise through center. Twice more either side. Exhale, twist. Inhale, rise. Exhale, twist. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Come back through center. This time, right hand grabs for the left tricep. Take a side bend over to the right side. Holding here. Inhale back through center. Switching out the grip. Left hand grabs for right tricep. A side bend over to the left. Lift up back through center. Twice more other side. Once again, with your own breath. Inhale. Exhale. One more on each side. Lift your way back up through center. This time, cactus your arms, press your hips forward, open the chest to the sky. Take a little back bend. Draw the elbows to your rib cage. Inhale, lengthen. Twice more, exhale, cactus and open. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale to cactus. Reach your arms overhead. Take a generous bend in the knees and then fold over the fronts of the thighs. Let your feet fall hips width. Once again, hands grab opposite triceps. Ragdoll here, upper body heavy. Sway back and forth. Maybe bounce the upper body like a buoy in the water. Maybe release the elbows, drape the fingertips on the ground, and kind of like you're painting with the fingertips, sway the body back and forth. And then release the hands underneath the shoulders. Step yourself back, come into a tabletop. On your inhale, draw your heart forward, sink the belly, cow. Exhale, tuck the chin, round your spine, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. We'll take this with your own breath here. After your last round, feet back through tabletop. Reach the right fingertips forward, left fingertips or left toes back. And then exhale, come into your awkward airplane, right fingertips over to the right, left over to the left. Plant through the left foot. Press into the pinky side edge of the left foot, fingertips rise. And then exhale, side bend over to the left side. Holding here. And then walk the hands back underneath the shoulders, plant the feet or plant the hands. Press into the right palm, lift the left fingertips overhead. And then exhale, take your thread the needle, left arm underneath the right. Rest the left ear on the mat, maybe right or left shoulder. Right fingertips can reach to the front of the room. Plant back through the right hand. Lift the left fingertips up. And then plant the left hand out. On your inhale, curve the chest out, sink the belly. Take your cow-like spine. On your exhale, sink the hips to the right heel, round the spine. Twice more, just like that. Keep the left leg extended. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, round the spine, sink the hips. If this is too much on the right knee, feel free just to stay lifted in your cats and cows in the tabletop pose. One more time, sink the hips to the heel. Come back through center. Draw the left knee back in, tabletop. Round of cat and cow here. And then left fingertips reach forward, right toes back. Inhale here. And then awkward airplane this side. Holding here. Press into the pinky side edge of the right foot. Root down. Inhale, arms rise overhead. And then exhale, side bend over to the right side. Left fingertips overhead. Plant back through the hands. This time, left hand down, right fingertips rise. And then thread the right arm underneath the left. Thread the needle. Left fingertips might walk out in front. Try resting the right ear, right shoulder on the earth. Plant the left hand back in front of the face, unthread the right arm. Plant the right hand back underneath the shoulder. 3 rounds of cat and cow here. So inhale, curve the chest out, expand through collarbones. Exhale, round the spine, sink the hips to the left heel. Inhale, lift the heel or lift the hips off the heel. Curve the belly down. Exhale, round the spine, sink the hips. One more time, inhale, lift up to your cow pose. Exhale, cat and sink. And come back up to your tabletop. Right knee lands underneath the right hip. 3 rounds of cat and cow here. Coming back through neutral tabletop. Let your knees fall wide, big toes draw together. Sink the hips to the heels. Rest your head on the ground. Like a child's pose, Balasana. When the arms reach over in front of you, soften the elbows. Rock the forehead side to side. On your inhale, find that expansiveness of upper back, the shoulder blades. Exhale, reach your hips back to your heels. Soften the inner groin to the back. Let the belly drop between the thighs. Plant back through the hands. Tuck the toes. First downward facing dog. Lift the hips back up in space. Couple movements here. Pedal at the feet. Open and close the mouth. Find some stillness here. Bring back to those cat and cow-like movements. Next, inhale, weave the body forward. Soften the knees to the ground. Keep the toes tucked. Take an active child's pose. Sink the hips to the heels. Inhale, lift the hips off the heels, chest opens to the front of the room, sink the belly, cow. Exhale, lift your hips back up in space, downward facing dog. Inhale, roll forward, high plank. Exhale, active child's pose. Inhale, cow pose. Keep the toes tucked. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 more times, try flowing with your breath. Awesome option to close the eyes here. They flow into the energy of your body. Twice more. Last round. And this time in your downward facing dog, take a wide stance of the feet. Walk the hands in about palm print, 1 palm print. And then reach the left hand over to the right ankle, looking under the right armpit. Side body stretch here. Switching out the sides, left hand down, right hand reaches for the left ankle. Gaze shifts underneath the left arm. Come back to center. Exhale to a fold, soften the knees. Circle the arms overhead. Head is the last to rise. Exhale, hands draw to your heart. Inhale, rise. Exhale to fold. Next, inhale, shift forward. Exhale, bend the elbows lower all the way to the belly. Untuck the toes. Walk the hands in next to the rib cage. Press into the tops of the feet. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale, lower. One more time, rise or come into your upward facing dog. Roll over the toes, downward facing dog. Full round of breath in. Full round of breath out. Walk the hands back to the feet. Holding here for 3 rounds of breath. Next inhale, shift the weight forward. Exhale, lower halfway or to the belly. Cobra or upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Breath in. And breath out. Walk the hands back to the feet. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Arms sweep overhead. Exhale, right away, fold. Halfway lift. Plant the palms. Walk yourself out, high plank. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, lower halfway. Cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Pausing. Lift the right heel. Draw the right knee to the right tricep. Step the foot to the outside of the right hand. Draw some circles with your hip. So keep the hands on the inside of the right foot. And then reversing circles. Pausing in your lizard lunge. You can stay here. Maybe lower the left knee back down and tuck the toes. You can stay on hands. If you want to come down onto forearms, feel free to do so. And when you're ready, tuck the back toes, lift the knee. Step the left foot to the outside of the left hand. Sink your hips. Malasana Yogi Squat. Hold in here. Take a couple of rocks side to side. And then pausing through center. And press the elbows into the knees into the elbows. Tuck the tailbone, reach the sits bones down to the ground. Reach up through the top of the head. Press the hands into the ground. Lift your hips back up. Walk the feet underneath the hips. Inhale to your halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Arms rise overhead. Exhale, fold right away. Halfway lift. Plant your palms, chaturanga, or downward facing dog. Once you arrive, left heel lifts. Knee draws to the left tricep, then step the foot to the outside of the hand. Lower the back knee and tuck the toes. Actually, let's tuck the right toes, lift the knee. Draw some circles with the hips, getting into that left hip point. And then pausing wherever you want for your lizard lunge. Either staying on hands, maybe coming down onto forearms. And then when you're ready, coming back onto hands, tuck the right toes, lift the knee. Step the right foot to the outside of the right hand, sink the hips, Malasana, Yogi Squat. This time here, reach the right fingertips off to the right side. Left fingertips will rise to the top of the room. Either stay here, maybe come into a half bind, reaching behind the low back. Grab hold of the right fingers. And come back through center, hands to heart. Switching sides, left arm reaches out in front of the left leg. Right fingertips to the top of the room. Stay here, maybe take a half or full bind behind the low back. Maybe fingertips grab hold of each other. Releasing the hands, come back to heart. Press the hands into the ground, lift your hips back up. Walk the feet underneath the hips. Inhale to your halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Arms rise overhead. Exhale. Take a fold, Uttanasana. Halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga, meeting in your downward facing dog. When you're ready, wave the body forward. And then lower to the count of 5, all the way down onto your belly. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. This time coming into Sphinx pose. So forearms rest on the mat, elbows under the shoulders, palm face down. Think about drawing the elbows towards the hips, hips towards the elbows, so that really broadens through the chest. Press into the tops of the feet to lift the kneecaps. And so we can stay here for a couple more rounds of breath before taking it a little deeper. And so we'll start to walk the right fingertips out in front. And then left arm will reach over to the left. Right arm will reach over to the left. So right arm should be stacked on top of left. And then we're going to draw the right knee up to the chest, keeping the leg at a 90-degree angle. If this is too much for you, you might want to grab a blanket and set it under the knee, underneath the inside edge of the right foot. And then we can keep walking the hands out further. So coming into a super intense shoulder stretch, super intense inner thigh stretch. So taking and leaving what you don't need or what you need. You can rest the chin on top of the right bicep. I'm trying not to hold your breath here. I'm trying to rest easy in your half frog variation. If it ever becomes too much on the shoulders, you can walk the arms in. That will take a little bit of the pressure out of the shoulder blades, and the shoulder muscles. And holding here for about 10 more rounds of breath. And knowing that you're going to be here for that long, how can you change the expression on your face? How can you change and relax into some other muscles? Start to walk the elbows back in. Lengthen the right leg next to the left. So resting in Sphinx pose. Taking a little break before going into this on the other side. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. And then taking this on the other side. So we'll thread the right arm underneath the left, and then start to walk the left fingertips over to the left. Draw the left knee over to, up to the left, or the right hand. So up to the left rib cage. Leg should be at a 90-degree angle. And then start to walk the fingertips further to either side, sinking a little deeper into this pose. You can rest the chin on the left bicep. Holding here for about 10 to 12 rounds of breath. And start to walk the elbows back in. Draw the left knee back to meet the right. Coming back to your Sphinx pose. And if you want to take this a little further, you can walk the hands out at a diagonal, that palm print out. Press into the hands, lift the elbows, soften the shoulders, seal pose. If this is too much on the low back, you can widen the stance of your feet. Maybe just lower back onto forearms. One more inhale. Exhale, lower back down. Cross the arms up. Cross the palm. So rest your right palm on top of left, and then let your forehead rest on top of the hands. You can bend the knees, windshield wiper the legs back and forth. And then take the hands next to your ribcage. Cross yourself back. Child's pose. And when you're ready, rolling up to a comfortable seat. And then we'll turn to one side of our mat. So on the long edge side, lengthen the legs out wide. Coming into a seated wide-legged forward fold. Flex the toes back to your face. You can rest the hands, fingertips behind the hips. I'm going to stay here because I have a ton of hip impingement, so it makes it impossible for me to fold any deeper when I'm in this type of shape. If you want to stay here, awesome. If you want to start to crawl the fingertips forward between the legs, melting the chest down, that's awesome as well. Just choosing what works for your body. Keep rooting through the sits bones. Lengthening through the top of the head. Soften through the eyes. Wherever you're at, coming back upright, hands behind the knees, draw the knees into the chest. Pivot the body to face the front of the room, lengthen the legs out in front. Press the hands behind the hips, point the toes. Inhale, press into the heels, into the palms. Lift the hips up high, reverse plank. Holding here for a couple rounds of breath. Keep the head in line with the neck. Take an inhale here. Exhale, lower the hips down. Reach the fingertips overhead. And think about reaching from the sits bones all the way out through the fingertips. Take a fold over your legs. Roll your spine back upright. We're going to come into frog pose. So we took half frog on both sides. So now we're going to take full Mandukrasana. So you can choose which way you want to go. It might be a little easier if you rotate back over to the side. You probably should have just stayed there. So if you want to use some props, that might help you if you have them handy. If not, don't worry about it. But if you know you have sensitive knees or inside edges of the feet, you might want some props underneath the legs. So you'll come into tabletop. I'll start there with you. And then we'll start to walk the knees out as far as they can go. So we've tried to open up the hips quite a bit throughout class. And then rest the inside edges of the feet like we did in our half frog on the ground. And then you can start to lower down onto your forearms. If your knees are super sensitive, you might want to roll the mat a couple times, adding a little bit of cushion underneath the knees. And try keeping your hips in line with the knees. And then you can melt the chest down. If you have a pillow handy, you might want to stick it underneath the chest to prop yourself up and really melt and relax into this pose. Holding here for about 10 rounds of breath. Four more rounds of breath here. I know it's intense. Just breathe into the discomfort. And start to walk the hands underneath the shoulders. Draw one knee in, draw the other knee in. Unroll your mat if it was there. And then we'll come to sit, top of the mat. Reach the fingertips out in front of you. And then tuck the chin, round the spine, slowly lower down onto the back. Once you arrive, take a full body stretch. Reaching, spreading that energy through the toes, all the way out through the top of the head, through the fingers. When you're ready, draw the knees into the armpits. Take your happy baby pose. Hands can grab outside edges of the feet. Reach the sits bones to the front of the room so that the low back flattens and lengthens. Rock side to side. Cross the right ankle over the left. Take a figure four pose here. Left foot can stay rooted. Maybe wrap the hands around the back of the thigh, maybe around the shin. Breathe. And releasing the hands out to a T. Let the legs fall over to the left, keeping the shape. If you want to grab the left toes with the right hand, maybe left hand grabs for right ankle. And you should feel that in the right hip. Maybe the gaze shifts off to the right side. Slow down the breathing. Taking more restorative practices and shapes. Allow us to decompress, ease into those anxious thoughts or worries. Protect the nervous system. Draw your knees back to your chest. This time, cross the left ankle over the right thigh. Take your figure 4 on this side. Choose your depth. If you want a bit more passive, right foot can rest on the ground. If you want a little bit more fire, fingertips can interlace behind the thigh, maybe around the shin. And take a couple rocks side to side. And then eventually letting the legs fall over to the right side. Maybe shift the hips a little bit off to the left. Arms can rest in a T, or maybe hands grab for opposite leg, opposite ankles. Keep pressing the left knee to the front of the room, opening up the left hip point. Draw your knees back into your chest. And then root down through the feet, ankles under the knees. Tuck the tailbone, press the low back into the ground, lift your hips up to the top of the room. Take a bridge pose. Tuck the shoulders underneath the back. Maybe interlace the fingers. Holding here for 5 more rounds of breath. Releasing the hips back down, unbind the fingers. Rock and roll up and down your spine before making your way to a comfortable seat at the top of your mats. Whether that's sitting on shins, maybe crossing the legs. Rest the palms on the legs, grounding the body here. Feel the points of contact your body has with the earth beneath you. Inhale, lengthen through the top of the head. Exhale, soften. Inhale, create space. Exhale to settle into that space. Eyes are soft. Jaw is relaxed. Tongue is away from the roof of the mouth. Visually thinking about looking at your third eye. So the space between the brows. Focusing on that little light there. And continuing to breathe, bringing awareness to the breath and to your third eye. And right now, when your mind starts to wander, let it wander. But maybe pulling up a chair in the back of your head and sitting down. Looking at all the thoughts racing and spinning, all the to-do lists, all the anxieties or fears, or even excited thoughts that are spinning around at the front of your brain. But you're just sitting at the back of your brain on a chair, watching, being the observer, not participating. Come back to your breath. Allow the breath to take over the body. Let the breath move through the body like a wave. And so I encourage you to stay in your meditation for as long as you can, you're able. And staying with this present moment right here, right now. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.